Today I'm making some eggplant rolls, and I'll cooking them in a very simple tomato sauce. It's one of those recipes which only needs less than a handful of ingredients. I'm looking for my brush. And often the case is that the simpler the recipe, the more tasty, and this is definitely the case. I've just applied a little olive oil. I meant to apply a little bit less than this, but never mind. I've got a little baking tray and some baking paper. I'm using a bread knife, which often is considerably easier as I can handle it better, and I'm making slices of just over half a centimeter. I'm going very slowly as I want to make sure that they are nice and neat. Look, you can see very gently, half a centimeter or just above. I'm cooking for 2 people, but if you wanted to, you can actually cook more. And this is the sort of recipe that freezes really well. And also, by the way, if you want to, you can just overlap them. They will cook fine. They will go in the oven for 15 minutes, 200 degrees. Halfway through, I will turn them around so that they cook on both sides. In the meantime, I'll make my tomato sauce. I'll start with a little olive oil on the bottom of a frying pan. Large clove of garlic. I'll squash it and add it to the oil. As soon as my garlic starts sizzling, I'm going to add my tomato passata, followed by some fresh basil, pinch of salt and some pepper. And I will leave this to cook on a medium temperature. I'll turn it down slightly, it's a bit high. And during this time the sauce will reduce slightly, it will cook of course, and the eggplant will be ready. Which is a great time to get all of my other ingredients ready. So this is fresh mozzarella. I could have also used cheddar or any melty sort of cheese, like Edam for example, would go really well with this. I'm cutting my mozzarella in little strips like this because it will be rolled in my eggplants. So as I said, use whatever cheese you like. Sauce is ready, I'll turn it off. First job, before I forget, is to reserve a little for the end. My eggplants are also ready, and they were in the oven for a further 5 minutes, so in my case 20 minutes altogether. The giveaway is that they need to be of a lovely golden color. I turn them halfway as I said, but the essential part is that they need to be flexible. That's why it is important that they are not any thicker than approximately half a centimeter. Also, do not cook them for too long, otherwise you will potentially end up with very, very thin eggplants. So they're good enough to eat as they are. I'm actually chopping at the moment the little straggly bits because they are not going to be any good for me to roll, so they can go inside as part of the sauce. I could not find my scissors, so I ended up using my knife. That's fine. This is really, really simple, by the way. Piece of cheese, mozzarella in my case. I'll place it at the bottom part of the eggplant, the part which is wider, and I'll start rolling. And you will see that because obviously they are cooked, very easy to bend, and this is what I'm actually looking to do. I'll do it once again. Ensure that your cheese is not too big, not too small, in proportion to the size eggplants you're using. There you go. I'll just finish them all. I did say at the beginning it was literally a handful of ingredients. So my hob is back on, and I'll just mix my chopped eggplants in, and it's very simple now. Just place your little rolls inside the sauce, and they will cook alongside everything else. Actually, cook most probably is not the right word, as the eggplants are cooked already. It's more about ensuring that the flavor amalgamates with my sauce, and also what am I looking for here, to ensure that the cheese melts. So you saw me reserving a little tomato passata earlier, so I'm going to apply that on top of all of my little rolls, so that I got some sauce at the top as well as the bottom. You'll have noticed that I didn't salt the eggplants. That is because I do not want them to drain any water before they go in the oven, and also I have salted my tomato, so there is no need to add any more salt. This is a little Grana, which is also salty, so to avoid having too much salt, I want to make sure that I moderate the salt intake, And if I need salt, I can always add it at the end. As always said, very, very difficult to take it away. But I'm going to add a little pepper, and I will leave them to now cook for another 5-6 minutes, maybe 7, until the cheese inside has melted. And of course the flavor from the eggplants will have gone in the sauce. I'll see you then. Simplicity, affordability and flavor, that is what an awful lot of Cucina Povera is based on. And of course, as I said, once these are cool, you can actually freeze them easily, and you can eat them hot, you can eat them cold, you can eat them defrosted. They're very, very versatile. There is only one way though that I like to eat them, with some good bread. I've got some ciabatta here. So first thing though is to add a little bit more olive oil at the top, not a lot, he says, if Julie was here. And here is some fresh basil, which now that everything is cooked, I'll add on the top. I've left them for a couple of minutes to cool down, so let's take a look. Get a knife and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. And here's my mozzarella, looking good. And you can eat them whichever way you want, but I think, as I said, simple things are the best. Hot. It's really delicious. Reminds me, of course, of a Parmigiana. If you've tried one of those before, we've got a playlist. Parmigiana up here if you want to make Parmigiana, but this is simpler, quicker and equally delicious. Enjoy and buon appetito. Ciao ciao.